Hello, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. I'm going to get started in just a minute. Hope everyone is doing great. I'm Lisa Brown with Ink and Inspirations, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, coming to you live from Southwest Missouri. Yesterday, the family and friends and I went over to Silver Dollar City in Branson, and it was a chilly start to the morning, but it was fun. And I much prefer going when it's cold rather than when it's hot. I just do so much better. So, anyway, we had a good time. And then my daughter's family and her friend's family went to see Esther at the Sight and Sound Theater there in Branson last night, and they said it was wonderful. So Jackie and I are planning on going with some friends later in the year. So looking forward to that. So I'm just going to give it a few minutes. Hey, Angie, thank you for joining. Welcome. So anyway, I got up this morning and it wasn't as cold this morning as it has been. And so we were getting ready and everything. And my daughter and her friend just left. They were either going on a hike or fishing because this afternoon it's all going to switch again. We're going to get some high winds and cold weather. So they're trying to get in everything they can this morning while the weather is uh, good for outdoor activities. So, anyway, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. If you're here watching the live, thank you for being here. And thank you also for watching the replay, those of you who watch later. So, I'm happy to be with you this morning, going to share an easy pocket card. I probably have shared it before, but I just love it. I love little pocket cards because they can be used just as a card, or you can use them as a gift card holder, or you can slide in some cash. And, as we start heading toward the end of the year, it'll be graduation season. Maybe someone's retiring that and I think this card we're making today is going to be a great card. So go ahead and say hello in the chat because we'd love to have you here. Just a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about before we get started on the card. First of all, you know that the end of the two Stampin' Up! Catalogs are quickly approaching. Okay. And so that's the big annual catalog, the big one that we get once a year. And then the mini catalog, that's the January to April that we have now. Okay. That's going on. And this Greatest Journey stamp set that I'm using today is in that catalog. And I'll show you that in just a minute. But as we start getting closer and, the inventory starts running out, and if it's something that can't be replaced within the time frame that Stampin' Up! Says is conducive to getting it to you, then, you don't want to be without. So if there's something you're wanting, you need to go ahead and order it. Okay. Don't wait. And that's especially true for like the retiring in colors. That's the Evening Evergreen, Soft Succulent, Pale Papaya. Let's see what else. Polished Pink and Fresh Freesia. 4 of those are already on low inventory, and I don't know that they'll be replacing them. Okay, so don't wait if you need the inks, the refills, the paper, whatever, if you have a color that you really love. Okay, so good morning, Connie. Good morning, Vicki and Marilyn. Oh, it's cold in Alabama. Okay, we're getting it soon. It's going to get cold. So, anyway, just be mindful of that. If there's something on your wish list that you want to order, don't wait. Okay. I know some people had been waiting on the Playing in the Rain dies to come back in stock, and they are back in stock. Don't wait if you want them. Okay. And get that paper to go with them so that you can cut out those cute figures. Okay. All right, let's see what else. Oh, okay. If you placed an order and qualified to get the Easter Bunny class, that will be shipping out in the mail tomorrow. Okay, so be looking for that beginning to middle of next week. Okay, all right, let's get started. I'm going to switch to my desktop. There we go. Okay, here's the greatest journey. I am using this stamp set today. What I fell in love with on this stamp set are the sentiments. Okay, just beautiful sentiments. I love the fonts. I always love anything that mentions the stars. Okay, the stars are my Stampin' Up team of demonstrators that are under me. Good morning, Sandra. Thanks for tuning in. And just beautiful, beautiful. Look, we're in this together. Wishing you joy in this next adventure. Mountains of thanks. And okay, so it goes with the paper, and the dies are great too. If you have someone that loves the outdoors, and here are some of the samples. This is on page 58 and 59 of the mini catalog. Here's the bundle, and you can see they have like clouds and a biker and a jogger and a hiker, just, and then plus some dies that cut out the images within the stamp set. I think these clouds are just beautiful. Hi, Rita from Guatemala. Thank you for tuning in. So anyway, if these are good for you and the people you love, and or your friends, don't miss out on these dies. For me, the stamp set is going to serve the purpose for me. And that's what we're using today. Okay. And the paper, I'm using some of the paper. This is gorgeous. Don't miss this paper. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, let's get started here. I'm going to pull out my pieces. Let me show you the card. Okay, here's the card we're making today. I'm doing a technique, an easy technique that you've all probably tried before. Plus, you'll learn to make this pocket card. So to start off, we have a piece of Starry Sky that's 5.5 by 8.5, and we're going to score it at 2 and 6. You can see I've already scored it, but I'm going to show you this. Oh, I forgot one thing to tell you, important. I have an Ink and Inspirations group, Stampers group, on Facebook. Okay, so if you're watching on YouTube and you're on Facebook, you want to go over there and request membership. And I'd love for you to try this card and then post it over there so that we can see all the different examples and samples of this card. Okay. All right. And I will put the link in the below the description in the YouTube, on my YouTube, and also on Facebook. Okay. Now we're going to score it 2 and 6. So here's 2 on our Simply Scored, and then 6. Okay. So we can get 2 of these fun fold cards out of one sheet of this Starry Sky cardstock. All right, we'll move that out of the way. And now I'm going to go ahead and fold up, and you can see there's this more narrow score. That's going to make our pocket. And then this top overlaps that bottom to make, so to speak, the card front. Okay, so there's the base of the card. Let's go ahead and build up with our layers. So for the top section here, I have a piece of Highland Heather that's 5 3/8 by 2 3/8. Okay, then I have a piece of the Great Enjoy the Journey Designer Series paper with this star print on the Starry Sky background. That's 5 1/4 by 2 1/4. Okay, so either take a screenshot or jot that down, or these will be in my blog post by tomorrow. Okay, if you want to wait for that. So we're going to layer these 2 together. I loved the look of the Highland Heather behind this designer paper to make it pop off of the Starry Sky background. So let me get my liquid glue. We're just going to put a little bit. Look at that variegated back. It's like an ombre look. Okay, so let's flip this over. And that just gives like an 1/8, or actually it's a 1/16 of an inch border all the way around. Okay, so I'm centering that top to bottom and side to side. And then I can go ahead and apply that to our card front. Okay, now let's work on our bottom part here. I have the same two papers, the Highland Heather cardstock and the Starry Sky with the print. This is from Enjoy the Journey Designer Series paper. And we're going to have a 5 3/8 by 1 7/8 and a 5 1/4 by 1 3/4 of the designer paper. Okay, so I'm going to take those off. And let's go ahead and apply this. Okay, now we're going to put that on the bottom part here that is going to be our pocket. So let me go ahead and apply some more liquid glue. Just like that. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and use liquid glue here. Just put a little thin strip of glue and then come up, and I'm just going to hold that down for a minute. So what about you guys? Do you use liquid glue adhesive, or do you use like tape runner like Stampin' Seal or Stampin' Seal Plus? What kind of adhesive do you favor? You put it in the comments there. Okay, I'm going to hold that a bit. I'm going to kind of buckle it a bit to give myself some pocket space there. Okay. All right. While we're letting that dry, look how pretty that is with that Highland Heather. Mostly liquid, Angie. Yeah, I use liquid quite a bit. That is my favorite. And then probably my next favorite is Stampin' Seal Plus, liquid glue. I think that is what most of us use because it's very forgiving. You know how you can shift things around a little bit before it really dries? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to let that dry a little bit. And then I'm going to get a piece of scrap paper. And I'm going to use our small. These sheets are made for the Stamparatus, but I love them for using for scrap paper too, in case I need a measurement really quick. Okay, so next, I have a circle here in basic white that is cut from the second to the largest circle from the Stylish Shapes dies. Now, these were not available for a while, but they are back in stock and they're on low inventory again. Whatever that you can find, Marilyn. Yeah. Hey, Karen. Liquid glue. Yes. Rita, both adhesive to have wiggle room. Yes, I agree. Okay, so here I die cut this. This is the second to the largest circle in the Stylish Shapes. Okay. We have circles, squares, and banners in that set of dies. And then I'll use this large one on my backing for this. Okay. All right. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to emboss the sentiment, "You belong among the stars," on this basic white piece. Hey, Pam. Yeah, Vicki, I agree there. Yes, for sure. Okay, so for embossing, we use our Versamark watermark ink pad. It's a sticky ink. And I'm going to ink this up. And I probably should go ahead and use my embossing buddy. This comes in the Embossing Essentials kit. I believe it's in the online store under online exclusives. Mine is in Texas. I need to order another one on my next order because it has this, the tray, the reverse tweezers, and a little brush in it. Okay, and it's that powder, like it's an anti-static powder, and it keeps the embossing powder from sticking everywhere, or helps anyway. So I can see, since it's an clear stamp, okay, photopolymer. I'm going to stamp that in the center right here. And then pull straight up. Okay. So embossing like this, heat embossing, was probably what got me hooked on paper crafting and rubber stamping. When I went to a workshop and we did this, I thought, holy cow, wow, this is awesome. And so one of the first techniques I used, now my friend Pam here sent me some reverse tweezers a while back, so I'm going to use these. And sprinkle the white embossing powder over the circle. Okay, so I don't know if you can see it there. There we go. There's the white embossing powder that's stuck to the sentiment. Okay. So now I have that. I'm going to take my heat tool. I like to use it on the highest heat. Let it warm up a little bit by just pointing it in a safe direction. And there we go. I'm heating it up. I can see it melting. I see I have a few little flecks below it, but that's okay. We're going to call those stars when I do the technique. And when it's good and shiny, you're good to go. Okay. All right, so I'm going to let that cool just a little bit and talk a little bit about this technique that I'm going to do. I'm going to take this sheet here, dust it off, and use that. Now, I have two inks here, Starry Sky and a blending brush, and Highland Heather and a blending brush. And what I'm going to do here is the emboss resist technique. And so when I rub this ink over this embossed sentiment, the embossed sentiment is going to resist the ink and pop out and make a really cool look to our design here. So this is fun when you take two different inks or even more and use them on the same sentiment or image. Okay, so I'm brushing on Highland Heather. I'm going off a little bit on my scrap paper. Hey, Patty. And I'm going to come on. And it's just very faint right now, but that's okay because we can put as much ink as we want. But I do suggest that you start off of your paper, off of your cardstock, and work your way on so you don't get this big blob, okay? So here we go. And sometimes if I'm talking to someone while I'm doing this, I forget and I get that big blob, and then I have to try to work it out. But that's okay. All right, so I'm going to turn it around a little bit and get this side. Okay, who's tried this technique? This is a really easy technique. If you emboss, then this is just like, makes you feel like an artist, right? Okay. And if you're just now tuning in, I talked a little bit earlier about my Ink and Inspiration Stampers group on Facebook. And I know not everybody's on Facebook. That's okay. I get it. But I have that, and you have to request membership. That's how I keep out some of the trolls, that don't belong there. And then you can share your designs, and I have to approve them. That's another way to just protect our little community there. And post your your projects. Like this week, I'd like for you to try this fun fold, either this particular fun fold or the technique. Okay. This emboss resist technique, and post a card. You don't have to put any directions, no links to anything. Um, it's just to share and inspire one another. We just get, because don't we get ideas from one another? I mean, and that's what's so cool about it, y'all, is that you can see a card and you think, oh, I can do that with this stamp set, or I can do that with these colors, or, just make it your own. And it's okay to copy. When I copy someone, I usually try to change it up and make it my own. But if I share something that is an exact copy of something, do y'all see how that's getting more vibrant? Look at that. Um, I give credit. Okay. Thanks to so and so for this design, or thanks to so and so for this card idea. We're just more creative as a community than alone, because we inspire one another, and that's what it's all about. Okay, so you know what I like? I like how around the stitching, how it's really kind of dark. Okay, so I'm going to give it a couple of more rubs here with this Highland Heather, and then we're going to switch to Starry Sky. Now, Starry Sky is a bold, dark color, okay? But looks beautiful with this. And we're going to try to leave, if I don't get too enthusiastic with it, we're going to try to leave some of the Highland Heather showing on its own instead of being blended all together. Y'all, why didn't y'all remind me about this host code being on here? Of course, I appreciate if you use that, but y'all need to remind me if I leave that up there all the time. I don't mean to. I just start talking and I forget. My goodness, Lisa. Okay, now, here we go. See how dark that is? Okay, but watch. Watch the magic. See, look how pretty that is. Those two colors blended together. And this is a process, y'all. It's not if you need a quick card, something fast, but when you're feeling like, oh, I want to be creative, I want to create something that I can get my fingers all inky, and this is it. And it's so simple. And these, I used to do it with our Stampin' sponges. Thank you, Pam. Used to do it with the Stampin' sponges, and these blending brushes are much better. Don't y'all agree? I know some of you have them. Look at that. Look at that dark around the, whoo, love it. Okay. See, and I'm trying to leave some of the center. And you can see there's some ink over the embossed areas, okay? But I'm going to wipe that with a tissue in a bit, and that will come right off. Oop, it's got that too much before coming off here. Okay, let's see. I'm liking that, okay? So I'm going to call that good for now. And I'm going to do one more thing before we put up the ink. And that's the inside pocket piece. Now I'm going to take just a piece of tissue and rub over the embossed sentiment. And that gets some of that excess ink that's just on the surface. But don't you love those two colors together? I love it. Okay. So I'm going to set that aside for a minute. And we're going to do something to that before I assemble the card. But let me take the part that goes in the pocket that you can write your greetings or your sentiment. This is basic white, 3¼ by 4¼ okay. That's going to go in our pocket. So I'm going to take this off. I'm going to put that here, and I'm going to try and see how it does with just the ink. Okay, this is a tip. See how I've been inking this dark right there? Okay, so if I take my brush and pull that on, it's going to pull in some of that dark color. So be aware of that. I've learned that the hard way. I'm going to kind of fold this in half, do that, and I'm going to, it doesn't matter so much if it's a light color, but if you don't want the dark being pulled in onto what you're doing, you want to not do it over that dark sheet of paper, okay, where that ink, where you've been brushing off and then pulling on. Okay, so I did need to add some more ink. And that's what's good about these blending brushes. Of course, you can wash them, okay, with a gentle detergent and let them dry. But what I do is, like, I'll find like this. Oh, I've made a mess. This dark one I use for like Night of Navy, any of the dark blues or purples. I just kind of brush it off, kind of like we do our blender pens, you know, brush it off on scrap cardstock, because I don't know about y'all, but I don't have a lot of room for 40 blending brushes for each color. That's just not my bag there, my game. Oh, I got a little ink there. It's okay. It's okay. Because I'm going to put the other two. Okay, let me do this. This is not going to be as dark as the other. I'm just wanted to tie in the color from the outside of the card to the inside of the card. I'm closing this, y'all, before I make a mess. Here we go. Now we're going to get the Starry Sky again. Start off and woo. Okay, so I'm just kind of blending the colors. I'm going to come on down and get that little splotch I made there. Okay, put these aside. I need this ink here. I'm going to go ahead and stamp my inside sentiment, and that is wishing you joy in this next adventure. You could leave this blank and just write your message, okay? But I'm going to put this in here. I'm thinking graduation cards or retirement or promotion. And I'm going over the area that I smudged a little bit, okay? All right, so we just kind of tied in the outside of the card to the inside. And I can go ahead and slip this in here, and that'll be ready to go when I'm ready to send it, okay? Now, let me take this, let's flip it over there, and we have this piece. And I wanted something different for the embellishments on this card. I wanted to use ribbon, but you know, I thought, how am I going to do that? And then I was looking through my ribbon drawer, and I found my glittered organdy ribbon. This one that's in the annual catalog. It's got that iridescent glitter in it, and I thought that's going to be perfect to pick up those colors. And while I'm thinking of it, I'm going to clean my hands with a wet wipe to get that ink off for now. Okay. And another thing is that every time you do this technique, if you're trying to like make the same card over and over, no two cards are going to look the same. Okay. And that's quite all right. All right. I'm going to flip this over. I know that I have it straight like this. I see my sentiment is like that. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to take these pieces and glue them on the back. Now for this one, I'm going to use, goodness, I still have ink. The ink on this is not dry yet. Okay. Better safe than sorry there. Okay, so I'm going to put some adhesive here in the middle. Just like that. That's Stampin' Seal Plus. I'm going to try not to touch the ink too much yet on that. And then I'm going to just extend. This is about a 3.5 piece of the ribbon. Okay, 3.5 inch piece. And I cut 4 pieces. And I just angle the ends, and I'm not worried so much about which way the angle is going, because I wanted to give the resemblance of a starburst, okay, like a star. And I'm going to go across. So I made a cross, and now I'm coming and making an X. And if I need to, I will add more adhesive, which I do. So I'm going to come over on top of the ribbon and then a little bit there. It does not adhere very well to the ribbon, so you need to get some on the paper. And see how pretty that is? And then if you want to, you can go around and trim the angles a bit if you want them a little more uniform. I'm not going to be too picky about it here. Okay, so there we have that. And then we can put that on the front of our card. And so when you adhere this outside piece, you have to remember to, hi, Anne. Hi. Oh, I'm so sorry. Praying for you, girl. You only want to adhere to the top, this top part, so that it will open nicely, okay? So I'm going to put adhesive like above this ribbon here, okay? So let me see how I'm going to do that. I'm just going in the spaces between the ribbon here. And I think I can put a little bit right there. Come back and center side to side. There we go. Okay, so now to finish it off a little bit, I'm going to use our iridescent rhinestones. You could use plain rhinestones. You could get your Stampin' Blends alcohol markers and color your plain rhinestones to make them just so beautiful on here. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to put 3 of them up here. And then 2 on the bottom. Jackie knows how you like to use odd numbers of embellishments. And so when I show him a card that I make, thank you, Rita Maria. Thank you so much. He'll count. He goes, well, where's the other one? I thought you have odd number. So he's always checking my work out. Okay. All right. So there's our card. Here's the sample. You can see how they're a little different. The colors are definitely the same. I hope you will try this, okay? The technique, the fun fold with the pocket. Okay, here's the inside of this one. Okay. And thank you. I know some of you share my videos sometime. Thank you so much for doing that. I want to show you one more example of this particular fun fold. This is made with the Irresistible Blooms bundle and the paper that's in the online exclusives. Thank you, Karen. And this is all not available right now, but look at this. I did the emboss resist technique with this flower and these leaves. You see that? Okay. And I kind of combined 2 colors. I think I used the seafoam, or I went darker in here with the color that I used. Thank you, Pam. Okay, so here you can see I just used the floral image and I put ribbon around it so that it's like a closure. Okay, and then on the inside of this one, I just have my little square piece with the flower stamped at the bottom and the little speckles along the sides. Okay. All right, let me get back where I can see you. So, okay, who's going to try this, either the fun fold or the technique? I want to see your work. I want to see it. Share it with us. So, thank you, Marilyn. So, I'll put the link in the YouTube description and, of course, on Facebook. I'll have that there. And go over request membership, make your card. I put the date like to share by Sunday so we can get all the cards, in there together that we can see and inspire one another. So I'd love for you to do that. Okay. And again, thank you for joining me. If I can help you with anything, let me know. Be sure to visit my website at inkinspirations.com. If you're not on my mailing list, be sure you're on that so you don't miss anything. I send project ideas there that you won't see anywhere else. When you sign up for my mailing list, you also get a free online class that shows you some great designs that you can use over and over again using just stamps, ink, and paper. Okay? All right. Thanks for tuning in. You all have a wonderful day and a great weekend, and I will talk to you again soon. Have a good one, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you, Connie. Thanks so much.